What's up? This is yo boy Ian Crumley back at it again with Option C, Video Learning Experiment. Today I'll be showing you how I went through classical conditioning with my dog Bolt. He's a interesting little fella. He was born in 2008. I was 7 years old. We adopted him right from the breeder. We named him Bolt because he was fast. He's not fast anymore. He's very fat. But anyway, I'm getting off topic here. My classical conditioning experiment I wanted to conduct was to pair a neutral stimulus to my dog running to the door and barking outside. I figured I can do this through pairing my neutral stimulus and an uncontrolled stimulus, which is the doorbell ringing, to my dog's response, which is him barking at the door. Hopefully I can get him to run to the door with the sound of my voice. So, let's get into it. So the process I'll be taking my dog through is called learning. There are 7 types of learning: social, habituation, trial and error, cognitive, insight, operant condition, and classical condition. In this situation, the first 6 would not work, because social learning is a process of watching others and mimicking their actions, and my dog doesn't like to be told what to do, so getting him to watch me would be pretty difficult. Habituation is a diminishing of a response to a constant stimulus, which wouldn't work in this situation because there's no constant stimulus. Trial and error could work, but it is mostly used for motor skills, like riding a bike, where you keep trying and trying until you get the hang of it. I'm trying to train my dog to run to the door barking whenever I make a certain sound in my voice, so this wouldn't apply well. Cognitive learning normally deals with memorization, such as vocabulary words and their definitions, so this wouldn't apply. Insight is a deep and sudden understanding of a certain topic, and there's no real logical application for this in this experiment, so we're gonna put that away. Operant conditioning could work in this situation, as I could positively and negatively reinforce my dog running to the door with the sound of my voice, but the method I'll be using today is classical conditioning, which is the pairing of an uncontrolled stimulus with a neutral stimulus, in the hopes that with enough pairing, the neutral stimulus will be able to trigger the response that the uncontrolled stimulus also triggers. But enough of the chit-chat. Let's get into how I actually did this experiment. So I began this experiment with a data table. This is a very rough sketch of what that actually looked like. And it consists of 10 trial slots, as you can see here, and the outcome of the trial. So the first 5 here were intended to pair the uncontrolled stimulus and the neutral stimulus. And the next 3 were to test if the neutral stimulus ended up triggering the same reaction as the uncontrolled stimulus. And the last 2 are intended to maintain the response, which is important for classical conditioning, because without it the response would just go away. I wanted to be in the same room when I made the noise and rang the doorbell, but my doorbell button was on the outside. So I resorted to a trick I learned when watching Good Luck Charlie with my dog in the room. Play a doorbell sound effect. I loaded the doorbell sound effect and readied my voice. The pairing has begun. And it worked. So I wrote down my results in the first slot here. Time for number 2. Woo! I repeated this 3 more times and started with phase 2. Woo! At this moment, I considered giving up. I cannot explain to you the sadness I felt at this moment. The senseless betrayal. I had another try. Woo! What the heck? I was frustrated. I was no longer sad. I was getting angry. I had one more try before moving on to the third phase. But alas, nothing. Phase 3 was meant to maintain, but at this point I wouldn't be maintaining anything, I'd be reviving this experiment. Just like that, we're back on track. Bolt's barking again. Could this be the revival of the controlled stimulus? Yeah, it's not, so... Okay, well... That concludes my experiment. I wanna thank you all for coming out and watching. I figured there might have been a few confounding variables, considering my dog's a complete idiot. And like every scientist should, I followed the ethic rules and debriefed Bolt, let him know what actually went on during this experiment. This experiment made me appreciate the work done by Ivan Pavlov and his salivating dogs, but at the same time convinced me that psychology isn't real. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.